Here are the top 10 reasons you should move to North Ogden, Utah. Number 1. North Ogden has a really small town feel to it, even though it's close to some major cities like Ogden, Utah. There are about 18,000 people who live there, and being so close to Ogden, you still have a lot of the big city perks, even though you live in a smaller town feeling area. Number 2. North Ogden feels safe. It's safer than 58% of US cities, and it has a significantly lower violent crime rate. The national average for violent crime is about 4 people per 1,000. The Utah average is about 2 people per 1,000, and the North Ogden average is about 0.2 people per 1,000. Number 3, North Ogden is really close to a lot of mountains, which are first of all beautiful, and can also provide a lot of activities like hiking, backpacking, rock climbing, just to name a few. Number 4, North Ogden has a really good cost of living. Technically, the cost of living in North Ogden is 3% higher than the national cost of living. However, the median income in North Ogden is about $78,000, which is significantly higher than the national average, which means that living in North Ogden is a lot more doable than living in other places. Even if the cost of living is technically higher, it's a lot more doable. Number 5, North Ogden has a lot of open spaces, especially compared to the surrounding cities. Ogden and Salt Lake City are both very crowded, but North Ogden, like we said, because it feels like a smaller town and there's not as much of a population, has a lot more open space. So if that's something that's important to you, this could be a good place to consider. Number 6, North Ogden has great tap water. Compared to some cities where the tap water doesn't taste very good and you have to go buy bottled water, North Ogden has surprisingly good tasting water. In fact, it has a reputation of really good water. So if that's something that's super important to you, this could be a good place to consider. Number 7, something really interesting about North Ogden is the Stump. The Stump is basically a public drinking fountain. It was originally created in 1930 when a tree stump that had been burned in a wildfire was put over a spring and created into a public drinking fountain. Now it's just a replica, but it's still something that people go to a lot to see when they visit North Ogden. And it's a really cool part of North Ogden's history. Number 8, North Ogden is beautiful. Not only is it close to beautiful mountains, which provides great scenery that way, it overlooks Ogden into Salt Lake City, and you can just see a beautiful view of the valley. Number 9, North Ogden is a great place to raise a family. The people there are good people who are willing to help, and like we mentioned before, the crime rate is significantly lower than in other cities. So if you're trying to raise a family, this could be a very good place to do it. Number 10, North Ogden is known for Cherry Days. Cherry Days is an 80-year tradition that happens during the summer, which is basically a big event that began to popularize cherries coming from North Ogden. And now it's a really big celebration. Every year they bring in speakers and they have events and performances, and it's just a great place to go if you're looking for some sort of activity to do during the summer. They have a big 4th of July celebration that's involved in the Cherry Days, and it's just a really fun event to attend. So there are some of the top 10 reasons why you should move to North Ogden, Utah. If you live there, or if you know of other positive things about North Ogden, feel free to tell us about it in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. If you're interested in hearing more about North Ogden, you can visit our website, lifey.org, that's lifey.org/North-Ogden-Utah. And we'll put a link to that in the description below. And you can just see we've surveyed a lot of people about North Ogden and what they think about it, and it's all there on that website if you'd like to learn more.